can see us. Really? They can see us too, Dad. Yep. Now they can really see
Now
us.
we're live. Hello, this is George.
And Bonnie. Mwah.
And this is Adonai's Sanctuary Truth Classroom. And it's October 14th, Tuesday.
Wow.
And when we get into it, we're going to be going over Jehoshua 22. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I wrote something this afternoon. And I usually don't do this, but I think it needs to be said. She don't even know what I'm saying now.
No clue.
Did you see what happened in the last few days? President Trump did what nobody has been able to do for thousands of years. To get Israel's people back and peace with all the Middle East. He signed that accord. His speech in Israel and then the leaders in Egypt was beautiful. All standing behind a sign that stated they all wanted world peace in 2025. Interesting. One speaker called President Trump, a president of peace. The people of Israel and Gaza were both calling his name, Trump, Trump. Well, one of our so-called parties was having a celebration party with taxpayers' money while they refused to work for the citizens of the United States. Shameful. Well, that is the softest word that I can use for them. You're supposed to be representing the people of the United States. Why don't you start doing it? That wasn't a political thing. It was what happened in Israel. How great it was. My honey even said something about the end times, so I had to look up in a couple books. Maybe we'll get into that one of these days. Maybe after we get through with Jehoshua. I think there's only 24 chapters in Joshua.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But let's get started on 22.
Hey, Ian.
This is a classroom. I'm not a teacher. I just bring out what Adonai points out to us. We ended last week with, then what happens? The fighting is over. Oh my goodness, sounds like what? They got settled over in Israel. The fighting is over and Israel has Adonai's land. Well, most of it. A lot of it. Yet Yehoshua remembers the 2.5 groups that were fighting with their brothers. My sweetie's going to read Jehoshua 22, 1 and 2.
Then Joshua called the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, and said to them, "You have done everything Moses, the servant of Adonai, ordered you to do, and heeded what I said in all the orders I gave you."
He called out the Reubenites, the Gadites, and half the tribe of Manasseh, and said, "Because you obeyed Adonai, Moses, and myself," read 3 and 4, please.
"All this time you have not abandoned your kinsmen, but have obeyed your commission as Adonai your God ordered. Now Adonai your God has given rest to your kinsmen as he told them he would. So you too return to your tents in the land which is your possession, which Moses, the servant of Adonai, gave you beyond the Jordan."
Return home.
Mm-hmm.
Beyond the Jordan, where you have been blessed from Adonai. But remember, well, read 5.
Only take great care to obey the mitzvah and the Torah, which Moses, the servant of Adonai, gave you, to love Adonai your God, follow all his rules, observe his mitzvah, cling to him, and serve him with all your heart and being.
Obey the command, the mitzvah, and the Torah, the one Adonai gave you through Moses. Believe and follow Adonai's truth. That's what our main topic usually is every week. Adonai's truth.
Yeah.
My sweetie's going to read 6 and 7.
Then Joshua blessed them and sent them away, and they went to their tents. To the half-tribe of Manasseh, Moses had given an inheritance in Bashan, but to the other half, Joshua gave one among their kinsmen to the west side of the Jordan. When Joshua sent them away to their tents and blessed them,
Joshua blessed them and sent that 2.5 tribes home to their tents. My sweetie's going to go to Numbers.
Oh, that's right.
32, 1 through 5. Caught her off guard again.
Yeah. 32, 1 to 5. Descendants of Reuben and the descendants of Gad had vast quantities of livestock. When they saw that the land of Yezor and the land of Gilead were good for livestock, the descendants of Gad and of Reuben came to and spoke to Moses, Eleazar the Kohen, and the community leaders. They said, Adarat, all those people.
Yeah, all those people.
The country that Adonai conquered before the community of Israel is livestock country, and your servants have livestock. If you regard us favorably, they went on, let this land be given to your servants as their possession, and don't have us cross the Jordan.
It stated they got the land.
Yep.
Now, when you study that pasture land, you see that the half-tribe of Manasseh and the tribe of Gad received very good land, while Reuben got more of the desert land to the south. Think about it. Is there a reason for that? Both Joseph's sons received favorable fertile land. Now, why would Reuben receive the desert part, not the favorable kind? Well, we're going to find out, because my sweetie's going to go to Bereshit, or Genesis 49, 3 and 4.
Reuben, you are my firstborn, my strength, the fruit of my manhood. Though superior in vigor and power, you are unstable as water. So your superiority will end, because you climbed into your father's bed and defiled it. He climbed onto his concubine's couch.
Reuben, or Reuben, defiled his father's bed. We looked. We can't find a notable descendant that came from Reuben. Maybe there is, and we just haven't seen it, but we didn't find one because of his actions. Jehoshua had already blessed those 3. Then he says, enjoy your riches. Now, I wonder what he meant by that.
Maybe we should find out.
My sweetie's going to read verse 8 in Joshua 22.
Saying, return with great riches to your tents, with very much livestock, with silver, gold, bronze, iron, and with great quantities of clothing. Share the spoil with your enemy, share the spoil of your enemies with your kinsmen.
Return to your tents with the spoils you took from your enemies. Share it with your people, your tribe.
Mm-hmm.
Then those descendants of Reuben, Gad, and a half tribe of Manasseh do something that the other 9.5 don't understand. kind of jumpy at this point. My sweetie's going to read 9 and 10.
So the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and half tribe of Manasseh returned. They left the people of Israel in Shiloh, in the land of Canaan, to go to the land of Gilgad, to the land they were to possess, and which they already did possess, according to the order of of Adonai through Moses. How far am I? 9 and 10, that's what I thought.
9 and 10.
When the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and half tribe arrived in the area of the land of Canaan, near the Jordan, they built an altar there by the Jordan, a large, impressive altar.
They built an altar by the Jordan. Think about that. Those 2.5 tribes built an impressive, large altar on the side of the Jordan called Canaan. It wasn't on their side. That confused and most likely scared the people on the west side of the Jordan. They didn't want more trouble brought on them by Adonai because of what someone else did. And they wanted answers now. Read 11, please.
The people of Israel heard of it and said, "Look, the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and the half tribe of Manasseh have built an altar by the frontier of the land of Canaan, in the area by the Jordan, on the side that belongs to the people of Israel." Yeah.
Why did they do that? How serious is it? And how serious were they? Mm-hmm. The whole community gathered at Shiloh, approximately 10 to 20 miles away, and decided to do something about it. Read 12, please.
When the people of Israel heard of it, the entire community of Israel gathered together in Shiloh to wage war against them. Uh-oh.
Go to war against the ones who just helped them? So upset, they sent Pinchas, the priest's son, to check it out. Read 13, please.
The people of Israel sent Pinchas, the son of Eleazar the Kohen, into the land of Gilead, to the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh.
And to show unity, they sent, well, my sweetie's going to read 14 and 15.
With him were 10 leaders, one leader of the ancestral clan of each of the tribes of Israel. Each one had a head of his ancestral clan among the thousands of Israel. They came to the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh in the land of Gilead, and spoke with them, and they said...
They sent 10 leaders, one from every tribe, to find out why. Read 16, please.
Here's what the whole community of Adonai is saying. What is this treachery that you have committed against the God of Israel, turning away today from the following Adonai, in that you have built yourselves an altar? This rebellion today, thus rebelling today against Adonai.
They accused them of turning away from Adonai because they remembered. Well, read 22:17.
Is the guilt we incurred at Hornot enough for us? We haven't cleansed ourselves from it to this day, even though a plague came on the community of Adonai.
Remember pure. That is something we haven't been cleansed from yet. Here's your ultimatum. Read 18 through 20.
Is this why you have to turn away today from following Adonai? If you rebel against Adonai today, he will be angry tomorrow with the whole community of Israel. If the land you have taken possession of is unclean, Then cross back over into the land that belongs to Adonai, where the tabernacle of Adonai is located, and take possession among us. But don't rebel against Adonai, and don't rebel against us by building yourself an altar other than the altar of Adonai your God. Didn't Achan, the son of Zerach, commit a sin in regard to things set aside for destruction, and God's anger fell on the whole community of Israel? He was not the only one who died for his crime.
Look what you may have done. In other words, remember what happened in Joshua 7:1. Read that, please.
But the people of Israel misappropriated some of the goods set aside to be destroyed. For Achan the son of Carmi, the son of several people of the tribe of Judah, took some things reserved for destruction. In consequence, the anger of Adonai blazed up against the people of Israel.
Because of that, look what happened to our fellow Hebrews. Now go to 7:5.
The men of A killed some 36 of them and chased them from before their gate all the way to Shivan, attacking them on the descent. The hearts of the people melted and turned to water.
36 of our men died because of what Achan did. Now you people want to bring more death to innocent people? We don't understand why you would want to provoke Adonai, yet when you study the whole part, you see it wasn't meant for sacrifices or burnt offering, only as a witness between the tribes on both sides of the Jordan. My sweetie's going to read 21 through 28.
Back in Joshua.
Joshua 22, 21 through 28.
Then the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh answered the leaders of the thousands of Israel. The mighty one, God, is Adonai. He knows, and Israel will know. If we acted in rebellion or treachery against Adonai, don't vindicate us today. We haven't built an altar in order to turn away from following Adonai, or to offer on it burnt offerings, grain offerings, or sacrifices as peace offerings. If we had, let Adonai require us to atone for it. Rather, we did this out of anxiety because we thought, sometime in the future, your descendants might say to our descendants, you don't have anything to do with Adonai. You don't have anything to do with Adonai, the God of Israel, because Adonai made the Jordan the border between us and you. So the descendants of Reuben and Gad have no share in Adonai. In this way, your descendants could make our descendants stop fearing Adonai. 28. So we said, let us now make preparations and build ourselves an altar, not for burnt offerings or sacrifices, but as a witness between us and you and between our generations who will come after us, so that we may perform this service for Adonai in his presence with our burnt offerings, sacrifices, and peace offerings, so that your descendants will not say to our descendants in some future time, you have no share in Adonai. For this reason we said, when they accuse us or future generations in this way, we will say, look, here is a replica of the altar, Adonai, which our ancestors made, not for burnt offerings or sacrifices, but as a witness between us and you.
It's to Adonai.
Mm-hmm.
What a clarification of why.
Mm-hmm.
Then the exclamation point, read 29.
Far be it from us that we should rebel against Adonai and turn away today from following Adonai by building an altar for burnt offering, grain offering, or sacrifices, other than the altar of Adonai our God, which stands in front of his tabernacle.
They weren't rebelling against Adonai at all. It wasn't an altar to take the place of the altar of Adonai. It's not for sacrifices, like I said, or burnt offering, or for any grain offering. There is already one of those, and it stands in front of the tabernacle itself. There's a misunderstanding by the 9.5 what the 2.5 wanted to do. And really, what we just got done reading, that is a testimony in itself to Adonai.
Mm-hmm.
Read 30 through 33, please.
When Pinchon the Kohen and the leaders of the community, the heads of the thousands of Israel who were with him, heard what the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and the descendants of Manasseh said, it satisfied them. Pinchon the son of Eleazar the Kohen said to the descendants of Reuben, the descendants of Gad, and the descendants of Manasseh, today we know that Adonai is with us, because you have not committed the treacherous act against Adonai. Now you have saved the people of Israel from the anger of Adonai. So Pinchon the son of Eleazar the Kohen and the leaders returned from the descendants of Reuben and Gad, and from the land of Gilgad to the land of Canaan and the people of Israel, bringing word back to them. What they said satisfied the people of Israel. The people of Israel blessed God and said no more about going to wage war against the descendants of Reuben and Gad in destroying the land where they lived.
They were now satisfied that those three, Reuben, Gad, and the half-tribe of Manasseh, didn't and wouldn't bring Adonai's anger on them, and they went and explained it to the people. Only one more thing happened in chapter 22. My sweetie's going to read 34.
The descendants of Reuben and Gad called the altar Ed, or witness, between us that Adonai is God.
The naming of the altar was Ed, which means a witness to all the tribes that Adonai is God. They got confused, scared because of what happened in the past, and yet those 2.5 tribes just wanted to have a altar that witnessed to Adonai as God. They made a statue of an altar. That's what Tom said. I have to study that one.
Well, yeah, because it was, I think that's the way he was talking. It was like the one that is already there.
Yeah.
Obviously, it wasn't to replace it, or it wasn't
No, it wasn't to replace it.
No, that's what I think he meant. They made a statue to represent a bond between the two sides.
Yeah. And they were both to Adonai.
Mm-hmm.
Next, we will come to Joshua's farewell speech to the children of Israel. When we read it, when we read it, we felt like, we felt the wording was, I'm dying, so be good, people. That's the ending.
No.
And also be the starting of next week.
Yeah, Tom said the altar wasn't for sacrifice, but for a reminder.
True. That's what it said. That's what it states.
It's
It wasn't
amazing.
for sacrifices. You can have altars. They don't have to be sacrificed. You don't have to put sacrifice on them. You still have an altar. And you have sacrifices on the real altar. Now,
I was thinking, when I was reading through chapter 122, I didn't think about this the other day,
okay,
but verse 5 applies to everybody.
okay, read it.
Only take great care to obey the mitzvah in the Torah, which Moses, the servant of Adonai, gave you, to love Adonai your God, follow all his ways, observe his mitzvah, cling to him, serve him with all your heart and being.
That applies to everybody, back then, now, and tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. When I read that today, I thought that.
My sweetie had that's her exclamation point. What she wanted you people to hear again, because it was such a good point. Now my last little statement is something about, well, you can call them preachers or whatever you want. Here's what I wrote a couple weeks ago. Priests put their own fence around their self-created laws for their people's brainwashing. In other words, they don't tell the total truth in Scripture, but they want you to believe what they say. The key word there is truth.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have truth, you have nothing at all but words, usually empty words. I think that's what Yeshua was talking about in Matthew 7, when he said, people will say to him on that day, in other words, when he comes back, we prophesied in your name, we drove out demons in your name, performed many miracles in your name. And in the end of that, he says, get away from me. I never knew you. See, if you have a bad tree, it won't give you good fruit. And you have a good tree, you have good fruit. Because a bad tree doesn't give you bad fruit, and a bad tree doesn't give you good fruit. So you got to look at your priests and wonder, why aren't they giving you the truth of the Word instead of denominational philosophy or church doctrine? Do they, by their materials from their religion, you understand?
Their religious depot.
Do they, by their materials, do they, by their, Tom just typed something that it took me a second to figure out what he was saying. Do they, by their materials, do they buy their materials
From their religious depot.
from their religion depot? In other words, do they get their material from places who preach and teach their denominational philosophy and church doctrine?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a good statement. And they're brainwashed to believe everything their hierarchy says.
And I still think that's why it says that they're held to a higher standard.
But
Wrong by. We figured it out now.
we figured it out.
I think that's why they're held that way.
But if they don't teach the truth, then their higher standards is really condemning them.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have truth, your standards are wrong.
Mm-hmm.
You can't bend it to get to the right spot if you've already started on the wrong foot.
Mm-hmm. And it's wrong over
And over.
and over through generation after generation.
And yeah. Well, folks, people, I hope you watch it and get something out of it. I hope Adonai gives you insight and understanding in what the scriptures say, and gives you a knowledge of you have to have truth, or you don't have any truth at all. Oh, what a good statement.
What a good statement.
If your priest is not giving you the truth, then guess what? You have no truth at all. You have a good week. May Adonai bless every one of you. And may you keep walking with Yeshua all the way to Adonai's door. Bye.